Hey, Critic Boxers! Welcome to Critic Box, the YouTube podcast thingy where we talk about movies and TVs and stuff and working on set and how much fun it is, and we love everybody we work with. I'm Jared, here with the wonderful Silk of Cinema, the ray of sunshine in the otherwise dark theater, Andrea.
Hi, how you
How you
doing,
doing,
Jared?
Andrea?
Oh my God. You know what? Let's just say well, and we're gonna save the rest for my therapist.
Fair enough. That's the therapist job.
Yes.
I changed the winter tires on my car today, and right afterwards, I got a massage, and my God, did that woman leave tired. She had all the knots to sort out after I did my winter tires. Like,
So you're just heavy in the self-care moments right now, eh?
you know what? It's when you have a spouse that has benefits, you use those benefits, and massage is on them, and I'm going to use them. Otherwise, you lose them. So,
It's it's not just the benefits of having a spouse, it's the spouse that has the benefits. That's where you're
yes.
at in life right
Oh,
now.
I
Okay.
have the benefit of a spouse, and the spouse comes with benefits. Um,
Ooh.
the benefit that my wife has is that I can put on the winter tires. That's what I bring to this relationship. She brings actual tangible benefits.
Okay. Who needs a dowry? No one needs a
No,
dowry anymore. Just
nope.
bring some benefits. Bring some dental, some eye care, some vision.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an American with stuff I didn't get sorted out my whole life, so I'm gonna sort it out now. Okay,
Yes.
so today, first off, before we do anything, we have a monumental event that we need to celebrate. Critic Box has 700 subscribers!
Are you
Ah! Oh my
serious?
God, oh my God, oh my God. We have 700! 700! 700! Take the
Oh,
movie 500 and add 200 more Spartans, and that's how many subscribers we have. And
oh
I
wow.
want to thank each and every one of you who said, tee hee hee, I like that. Let me hit like and subscribe, and I'll never think about this show again. And then sometimes we pop up on your feed, and thank you. And thank you for that easy commitment that you did to it. It's showed. And if you haven't done that yet, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe. I know everybody says like and subscribe, and we're no different. It means nothing to you, means a huge deal to us, and we thank you for everybody that did that. Now, to get to the heart of the matter today, we're going to be talking about Gladiator 2. Gladiator
Uh,
2.
did you
The
see it?
Ridley Scott sequel to
Did
Gladiator
you
Int. No, I've not
did you
seen it.
see
I've
it?
not gotten around to see it. No, of course I haven't seen it. It just came out. You know I don't go see movies within a month of them coming out just because I forget and don't get around to it.
I was hoping that you'd make a special trip to Cineplex for this one.
Yeah, you know what? I was not a bit. I mean, Gladiator one when it came out, which is weird that we have to say that now. Gladiator, when it came out, well, what year was that? 2000. Yeah, it was 2000. When it came out in 2000, I mean, I thought it was a really awesome kick-ass movie. Some guys made it their entire personality, but I was never that guy. I just enjoyed it as a cool, fun, gory Roman film. And now we get Gladiator 2, which has
Hmm.
mixed reviews at best. Some people think it's
Um,
awesome. Some people think it's way off the mark.
I think a B, which is basically what 71% is not a bad grade. I don't think that that's mixed reviews at all. I think that's a pretty solid uh,
Well, yeah, looking at these ratings, looks like
response.
it has good ratings, but I have seen mixed reviews that I guess don't reflect these ratings. But yeah,
Well, that's not on my algorithm because everybody on my algorithm is like,
uh,
oh
it's
hell, Denzel, oh
wonderful.
hell, Denzel. So
Which yes, I mean I haven't even seen the movie, and all hail Denzel.
yeah, yeah, especially the press tour he's been on for it too. It's been ones for wonders.
Oh really?
He's an I don't give a fuck era. Like
Oh my
he's
God,
in his
I
era.
would
He's
awesome.
he's in his era. He's like, listen, I've done this enough now. I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say, and either you're gonna report it or not. It's okay. This is where it's at.
Hell
Um,
yes. Actor gets
no,
to
but
that level of career, like I can do whatever the hell I want. It's great.
like this is probably my last movie.
Like
What?
Mads Mikkelsen when he was cracking that bottle of vodka during one of those press conferences. Like, yeah, keep going. Like, fuck
You
it.
what? Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
No, I've seen pretty good solid reviews for it, people who
Hmm.
have enjoyed it immensely. A couple of my friends went to like private screenings and they said the response was good, but then there's always the internet. And there's always that subsect of
There's
the
always the
internet that
internet.
has to the trolls that have to hate on everything,
Hmm.
the shit talkers. um,
And they were like, oh, I mean, I've heard a couple of like, oh, it's historically inaccurate. I'm like, yeah, well, so was the first one. Really, Scott, don't care.
it's not supposed to be historical accuracy. This is not a historical film where it's telling a real story. This is all fiction. This
Mm.
is this is intrigue and thriller for entertainment. This is
For
the,
funsies.
the it's basically the realest thing that they've got going on here, and which is probably the most accurate, is the Roman costumes. That's where it stops, buddy. Like, just take the
And
rest
that
with a
little
grain of
cloth,
salt.
the cloth awning that extends out to provide shade for the Colosseum. That's actually an architectural. What does it call that? That is historically accurate. They agree that yeah, that's actually the Colosseums had those like little shade things. Yeah.
Okay,
And
well,
that's it. That's where the
I just,
historical accuracy ends for Ridley Scott. Outside of that,
and
it's some
that's
pure
fine.
entertainment, baby. It's fights, it's fire, it's blood, it's desire.
There's some CGI. There's a cool couple of wars. He's fighting a hippo. Like, just take it for what it is.
Yeah. Take it as fun. Fun for fun's sake. Funsies.
Gosh, it's not as angry as the first one, which is basically about a man fighting for revenge because the Romans did him so bad.
Did him
So
dirty.
like just take it for the entertainment that Ridley Scott obviously meant it to be. You're not supposed to want any sort of reality or realism in this. When you come to a story about the Romans, why would you want to? It's the Romans.
It's the Romans. They didn't
They
give
were
a fuck. Why
mean.
should you?
They
Yeah.
were just mean.
There's an entire species of lion that is dead and extinct because they made them fight to the death. Like they were literally like extincted a species for entertainment. It was the Romans. They didn't give a fuck.
No hate on them,
Do
but this
whatever
is
the
just
hell they
who they
want.
were. Like, why would you want historical realism? We're good. It's fine.
Yeah,
But
fucking do
yeah,
whatever.
no, but the mixed reviews are the mixed reviews, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I think more people enjoyed it than a lot of they didn't, and obviously Denzel is a major catch. So
Oh, I mean, Pedro Pascal as well, but I think at this point, who
yes,
doesn't have Pedro on their cast list? Like, Pedro's is on everyone's cast
very
list. We
true.
love him. I am not sick and tired of Pedro Pascal. He is no, who am I thinking of? Chris, oh, what is his name? Oh, this is gonna bother me. Every time I need to know, he's no Chris Pratt. Where we're all sick of Chris Pratt.
Uh,
No. Pedro Pascal is phenomenal, and I still love him and everything. But it's the
uh,
Denzel. Ooh, that's the Denzel that like. I think we all don't have enough Denzel in our lives. Is the issue,
right.
and that he gets brought into this film? Hell yes, I'm in.
Because the man's gonna act. Like he's
He's
not
gonna
just
act the
gonna
fuck out of that thing.
thank you. He's
It's
gonna be
Denzel.
like
He's gonna act the fuck out of that character.
he's gonna be like, of course there were free black people back then. How you mean? Do you not see me? I'm standing right here.
They were black
Free black
emperors.
man.
Yeah,
What?
they were.
Like
There were a couple black emperors back in the during the Roman Empire. Yeah.
there
because
were, but
because Africa was like half of the Rome at the time, like Northern Africa, that was Rome as well, you know?
there were, but in most history books, the way we get taught about the Roman history is just mainly people of Caucasian descent. So you don't really get to see the black people, or if you think of black people in that time, you think of them as the second. Shut up. You think of them as the second class citizens. Denzel and just the
Hmm.
way he's able to embody a character and make it seem real, and how he just acts his
Mm,
ass off in
mm.
each and every role he's in. It's just like, why wouldn't you believe that there were black men in power and positions of authority back then?
That they were
Gee,
just people. Yeah, the black people were people. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was it.
So, and
And
and it was,
mhm.
go ahead.
No, I have nothing to talk about. Go ahead. I was gonna say, how much can we talk about this movie that we haven't seen? Yeah.
Why you have to let everyone know, Jared?
We're going to talk theory because we said it at the
Sure.
beginning. We have not seen this movie, so we really don't know what to say about it. But we can talk
Okay,
about the
whatever.
movie. Yeah.
I could talk about this movie because you know how we just made the point about people going into states of upheaval and uproar when they see people of color in traditionally white casted roles.
Hmm.
No one has really done that with Denzel in this character in this movie. Everyone's just been like, oh, well, it's Denzel, it's fine. Have you noticed that?
And also, again, because yeah, there were black people of power in the Roman era, so that's why I was like, actually, yeah, it's historically accurate. So
Well, anyway, I'm just saying. I'm surprised
yeah,
there's not like there's a group on X or Twitter or something that was like, "Ah!"
yeah,
They haven't
that's
yet.
so you're just saying Twitter at this point. Yeah, that's just Twitter. Yeah, that's
My
just
feelings are hurt.
dear everyone, I'm fucking pissed. Um, so on this note
I am a
of
keyboard warrior, and this keyboard warrior wants you to know.
I am a white man with opinions. Okay. So speaking of white guys with opinions, here's mine. So today we're talking about piggybacking off of Gladiator Part 2. We're talking about sequels, if you will. Um, the purpose of them, the point of them. What were they in the past? What are they now? I mean, should we start off with a definition of it and then go from there, or let's do that. Let's split that hair that is actually we recorded earlier is going to get cut out, but we're putting it back in. Sequels. The actual definition of a sequel: the second movie in a franchise that continues a story with many of the same characters. Pure, base, simple. That's what a sequel is. If there is a one, there's a two. The two is a sequel. It doesn't matter what it is. You got your Star Wars New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. That's a sequel. You got your Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings, Two Towers. That's a sequel. Me personally, I think that a sequel. I mean, because I'm really splitting hairs with this one. When we talk about, yes, a sequel is just a second in a movie, whatever. I think something when you go to Star Wars, when you have Lord of the Rings, the second movie is a continuation of the story. I don't think of it as a sequel. It's just part of like the trilogy, part of the story. It was always intended that there were going to be three of them, and this happens in one, this happens in two, this is going to happen in three. They made one knowing there's going to be two and three. To me, I always felt like a sequel was they made the first movie not having a plan for a second one. Like they didn't know if it was gonna catch on or not, and then like it blew up, and they were like, okay, cool. Can we make a second one? Let's make a second one. Boom. That's what to me is what I feel like a sequel is. Like when you make the first movie,
Like
not intending to
Smile,
have the second one. Like
like
Smile.
Smile or Scream or um, Friday the 13th. Like
Scream, yeah,
those
Friday the
are
13th, Blade, like all the movies, like even Back to the Future. They didn't, like, they made Back to the Future. They didn't intend to make part two. Like, it said to be continued at the end as a joke because they had no plans to make a sequel. But then the first one kicked ass and they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to make that sequel then. And then you made
yeah.
that one. So that's what, and
I
same thing
mean,
with the best in the so what I think Alien and Aliens. I'm sure going back to Ridley Scott, Alien he had a plan for it. Aliens, I feel like he was like, okay, I got an idea for a second one. Let's just push this further. And then it moved on that because the first one standalone could have been one and done, would have been wonderful. But then they went ahead and made a second one, and it worked. So that to me is my definition of a sequel.
I mean, that is the actual definition of a sequel, something that was a continuation of a movie that was unplanned and tells a different aspect of the story of the movie. For me, I find them mainly in the horror genre, like the Fear Street. Like obviously
Oh my
Fear
God,
Street,
the
if you watch
horror
Fear
is
Street movies, if you watch Fear Street movies, you know that each and one of those were made as standalone movies. And because the premise did so well, they're like, okay, well, we're gonna add one and we're gonna add one. Those to me are true sequels. Do I really care, however, if the second film in this series from a original film is, you know, a standalone story or continuation of the first story. No, as long as it's good, I will watch it. Like, I personally, as a consumer, don't need to split those hairs. That's not the hair that I am looking to make sure is intact. What I'm looking to make sure, especially in the second installment of a movie franchise, movie series, whatever the part deux, I'm looking for something that is good, that entertains me as much as the first movie did. The Expendables came out, and the first Expendables was kind of a classic. Steven Stallone did his thing, and you had all these old school action stars on the screen together, a lot of them for the first time, you know, doing their thing. And you would expect to say, okay, well, the second Expendables, yeah, that would be as great watching that the second time around, because now they're in a different circumstance. It wasn't as good. That's what I cared about. Ocean's 11,
Yep.
Ocean's 12. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12. That is original movie, and that is a sequel movie that makes me happy. It fills me with joy. Why? Because in certain respects, outside of the opening scene, watching Brad Pitt eat that taco, the movie was actually better than the second.
Uh-huh. And
I just need to be entertained.
look, that's what the point of a sequel should be. Is, hey, first one caught on, what's the second one? And then you get into what is the motivation? Why do they have the second one? Was it the story's not done yet? Or was it studios are like, hey, yo, there's still some milk left in this cow. Let's squeeze it. You know,
Cash
like that's
cow.
like cash cow, baby. That teat's still bringing. Let's go. You know, like
You see the numbers? You see the numbers?
we can still get some more meals out of this, baby. You know, and then you get to the point where it's like, okay, yo, that cow's dead. Cow's dead. Stop it. Stop making these. You know, that happens sometimes.
No.
Like, oh my God, what are some of them like? Oh, see, you see, we lost Andreas. It was so much. Oh, there we go. You're back.
No, I'm here. I'm back. No, it's that's when the studio exec decide that they're going to genetically clone that cow and give us the newer version.
Look, we could talk about
whatever they
Terminator.
think.
Terminator 1980 something, 1980, fantastic haircuts. That was its own movie. That was fun. It was cool. It was unique. Time traveling robots are on a death mission, and he's like, I gotta save you and then bang you and then produce the next generation for the revolution. Cool. I wrapped my head around that easily. And then Terminator 2 came out, and damn, that thing kicked ass. Like, arguably, Terminator 1 forgettable at that point after Terminator 2 came out. That was a solid banger. Anything after that, we could have just stayed home, y'all. We didn't need any of those. Like, that is a cow that is dead. That is a franchise cow that is bones. Okay, there's flies like eating off of that car because ain't nothing left in the Terminator franchise. That thing is dead from sequels.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat 1, fun as hell. Mortal Kombat,
right?
Nah, none of them. Not a one. Not a one of them are watchable.
No. The producers want to chime in at this point too. They're talking about Godfather 2. They said Godfather 2 was an absolutely unnecessary addition to the Godfather.
No, hold on.
We're done with the Godfather.
No, Godfather 2 is actually rated, some people say, better than the first one. That is one of those that, like, it's like, if anything, it can go pound for pound with it. It's Godfather 3, which went, like, fucking just tanked. Like, not even worth talking about. A huge turd. And as a guy who's read the book, Godfather 2 had a lot of the stuff that was not gotten to in the Godfather. And I absolutely do say, like, worth it. Worth the read.
I enjoyed the book more than I enjoyed the movie as well. I think Mario
Puzo good. Did I enjoyed that. I was surprised.
Job.
I couldn't put that book down. But then like so there was like some franchises where arguably second one kicks just as much ass, if not more than like Blade 2. A lot of people love Blade 2 compared to Blade 1. You could
Mm-hmm.
say we can even go to more comedy based, like Gremlins. Gremlins was a fun
Mm-hmm.
movie. Gremlins 2, more fun. They
I
took
want
that
to
slapstick routine and went further with that one.
I want to give it to Black Panther because after the death of
Mm.
Chadwick Boseman, they thought that movie, that storyline for Wakanda was basically dead in the water because they were not going to recast Chadwick Boseman's
No, that
character
would have
with
been way too weird.
anybody
That would not
else,
have worked. Yeah.
and Michael B. Jordan wasn't going to come back for the second one. But I have to actually say, the story and the plot of Black Panther 2 was up there with the surprise and the joy and that the newness and the freshness that audiences got from Black Panther, the original movie. And that
Ooh,
is
I'm
probably one sequel that I would say is one of my favorite sequels of movies that have come out recently in this decade because it was actually good. And the story was just as strong, if not stronger, than the original one. And they were able to do it without the guy that made it what it was.
That says something. I haven't gotten around to the Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, I believe. I've not gotten around
Uh-huh.
to it. It has been on my almost hit playlist, and then something else happened, and I didn't get to. But I look forward to that, and that is a wonderful thing to do, and especially when your lead actor dies from the first one. What do you do with the second? And that is probably, according to you, a good textbook example of like how you can do something with that. Um,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what are we talking? Oh yeah, Back to the Future 2. Like I said, Back to the Future 2, even more fun. Even more fun because it's
Yeah.
like, hey, let's go to the future for a bit. Like, hey, let's go 30 years in the future instead of 30 years, and then we go 30 years in the past. So you get like,
Yeah.
what was it? It was 2015 and or no math. Yeah, 2015, and then they went back in time to back to 1955 again. How do you go back in the past and deal with your past self? And that's part of the storyline is to not run into your past self as you're trying to save your dad to hook up this. It gets mind-boggling, but Back to the Future 2 did it, and they did it more fun and better.
Right.
Aliens, like how do you like an alien? How do you top Alien with a fuck ton more aliens? And it worked. You know, it's like Alien was an alien versus a bunch of truckers. In Aliens, it was a whole bunch of aliens versus a bunch of Marines. So it's like tit for tat.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. And it was
Yeah.
so much fun. Gremlins, a lot of them going crazy in the movie theater. And then Gremlins 2, they're in New York, baby, the new batch. And, you know, it was a lot of fun. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, how did you beat that in the 90s? With TMN2, The Secret of the Ooze. And that's where we got Vanilla Ice's Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go, which I will fight
I
anybody
do.
who doesn't think that wasn't
You're,
still a banger.
then put them up then because I do not agree with anything
I will,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. We
it was
no.
cheesy, corny, and why did the turtles have liver spots in the second one compared to the first one? Was never explained, but they had little spots all over them. I was like, what are these liver spots? Anyways, as long as it's
Put them
fun
up.
and doesn't waste my time, that's a good sequel. Then it was worth it.
Yeah, I would have to say my second installment, like my all-time favorite second installment of any film, which is not technically a sequel by the definitions and standards that we've just defined, even though I love Ocean's 12 and I mentioned just a bunch of them, besides
Mhm.
Wakanda, besides The Godfather,
City Slickers 2, Search
besides
for Curly's Gold. Mhm.
no, no, not really. That's you. Besides the Fast and the Furious,
Mhm.
is a Kill Bill. Kill Bill Volume 2 does it for me every time.
But then you're like, is that just a continuation? That's a continuation of the story.
I don't, to me, it is the sequel.
Sorry, sorry. Actually, that's volume 2. That's a continuation of
I,
volume 1.
I premised this whole conversation by saying, what?
That you don't give a shit. Shit's not given.
Thank you.
Okay. This is
No.
Andrea's sequel. The shit's not given. Okay.
Okay. I am, allow me to tell you my favorite. Okay,
No,
fine.
I'm
Fine.
with you with
If I
that.
can't, if I can't
Then,
say Kill
but we'll
Bill,
talk about Kill Bill because I'm a huge fan of Kill Bill too. Kill Bill as well. Kill Bill
yes,
Volume One was beautiful samurai. Kill Bill Volume
yes.
2, beautiful Western. And they were
Hmm.
both wonderfully done. I agree with you on that one. Both
Yes.
like exactly wonderfully done. Two different vibes. Some people didn't like second because it wasn't like the first one. I'm like, it wasn't meant to. They're supposed to be two different vibes, and they're both wonderful.
Yes. Okay, so what's your favorite sequel?
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna go with childhood. Childhood sequels that I watched the shit out of.
Oh, okay.
I got three movies that I watched the shit out of as a kid because I had the VHSs and I played them on loop all the time. First one I said was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, because I mean, looking at back at it now, is it a hot pile of garbage? Yes, but it's fun garbage. It is fun. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Uh,
Second one is going to be hot, and it's a spoof movie, Hot Shots Part Deux. The reason I keep saying Part Deux
mm,
for things is because of that movie, Hot Shots Part Deux. Like, because
okay.
what's the only the first French word I ever learned was deux, meant two. And it was fun. Hot Shots Part One was fun because it was just a play on Top Gun, and then Hot Shots Part
Yeah.
Deux was a play on all the other, like what the Expendables were, like your Rambo's. It was a play on your Schwarzenegger movies, like as a tongue in cheek on that when it was making fun of those. Did it wonderfully and hilariously, and that's how Saddam Hussein got it. Okay, all right. Let me just say that was the most American film ever because we got Saddam, damn it. Okay, he was frozen in nitrogen and then he was shattered and then he melted and he melted with a dog. So he came back and he looked a little bit like parts of him with a dog and then he got blown up at the end. That was a diplomatic movie.
It's very scary how detailed you just remembered that.
Again, childhood.
I'm actually
That's all I was
a
watching,
tad
baby.
bit, I'm a
Did
tad bit,
childhood? Did baby Jared go outside and play? No, he didn't. He stayed inside and watched the same movies over and over. Okay, also Batman Returns. One of
oh,
like solid Christmas movie that is on my repertoire for next month is Batman Returns. Michael Keaton, Michelle Pfeiffer, Danny
oh,
DeVito,
the or
Christopher
Danny
Walken,
DeVito.
like
Yeah.
solid sequel. And again, I'm just gonna. I know our producers love like, oh, there's got to be the best of the best. No, there isn't. I'm just gonna list off a whole bunch of them, and this is gonna be my top one. Feifel Goes West. That was
Cycle
a
goes
sequel. Feifel
west.
Goes West,
Can we
An American
can we
Tale,
please
and
get a
it
clip?
was a little Mousekewitz. It was a little Mousekewitz, and then they were like, it was an immigrant story. It was an American Tale. It was a cartoon in the '90s that was not Disney, and I love them. It was called An American Tale, and it was basically Jewish immigrants from Russia, and they made their way to New York. But then in the second one, they make their way out west, and they join the Wild West, and it featured Dom DeLuise as the cat. It was a what? Oh yes, thank you. Fievel Goes West. I watched the shit out of this movie. Dom DeLuise at his finest.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
where I
this
got
seems
the
wholesome.
voice. I loved him. He's so much. Love it so much. But yeah, I would say
That's a
Fievel Goes West was one of my favorite sequels of all time. And it was asleep. People could sleep
okay.
on it because you've forgotten about it, but watch it again. Still holds up. Wonderful.
It looks like you could actually sleep after watching it. I mean, which is better than what you were describing to me in that Saddam scene of where death just becomes him
But then he comes,
rapidly, viciously.
but then again, his liquid nitrogen parts melt and morphs with the dog. So then Saddam Hussein comes back and he has dog parts. And
God, it
yes, and
sounds like South Park.
this is a
It
very
sounded like
well. South
it's
Park got it from somewhere. It was before South Park. Anyway, and again, Naked Gun 2.5. That's a wonderful sequel
yeah.
as well. I mean, there's a
What
lot of
about Beverly
comedies
Hills
you can do
Cop?
that. Oh, Beverly Hills Cop 2 was good. That was fun. I think that was just a fun one. What are some other ones? Again, Friday the 13th we got to. Friday the 13th Part 2, which is technically the first movie where you get Jason as a person. Because the first one was his mama, spoiler. But the second one was him with a bag over his head. And he was just a murderous dude with an axe and a bag over his head. And that was, yeah. So sequels there's a lot of sequels out there. Some of them are great. Some of them were just mid-fun entertainment. Some of them were not worth our time. But that is sequels in a nutshell.
Okay, so with that being said, why do you think that the studio and Hollywood, the studio network and Hollywood and the execs, they have such a fascination with giving us sequels as opposed to finding new stories to tell us? Well,
Well, I mean, it's
besides the
always been
cash
about the
cow.
money. Yeah, again, it's always teet, teet, teet. I mean, we're forgetting about the giant, huge reason why they do it is for the money, but it's also it depends how you do the sequel. Is it the cast signing on because they love the role? Are they also in it for the money? This director, is it the same director as the first one? Is it a new director ready to take it in a new vision? What about the writers? Is it just some whatever, like a bunch of interns that they just threw at this movie and they're just going to slap together some crap and it's not going to be that good? Or is it going to be, or do you have the same writer, or you have somebody who's an experienced writer hopping on? They're going to take it to the another level. There's a lot of ways you can do a sequel, and if you don't do it right, it can be terrible and it can kill the whole franchise. But if you do it right, though, oof, that can continue it. That can really carry it on.
I think if they hit the jackpot and they do a sequel right, it actually really does make their career wherever they're at, because then they can be the one to take credit for the fact, well, you know what? I knew that the original was going to be good, or I knew that we should take a chance on so and so writer to make the second version and it was going to be a hit. And for them, that's just clout. They have that clout to say, well, if it wasn't for me, this studio wouldn't see millions upon millions of dollars the second time around. And I think that's what the fascination is, not so much of trying to entertain people or trying to endear themselves to audiences or endear a franchise to audience. It's really a personal ego thing, and the clout and how much they can ask for more on their paychecks after saying that, well, this is what I helped create and
Yeah.
make the careers of other people. I mean, that's personally what I think the fascination behind doing sequels as opposed to doing original content is, but it's just a guess for me. Otherwise than that, yeah, I mean,
It
money.
also sometimes when you do a second one, it's like, okay, what direction can we go with? How can we take it there? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
Batman Begins was great, but would Dark Knight have been Dark Knight without Heath Ledger coming in and doing his thing?
yeah.
Would
I mean, so, like you're right.
remind
Sometimes there is genuine artistry in doing a sequel, whether it becomes from on the side of from an actor, whether it comes from the writer, whether it comes from a director. Sometimes there is genuine artistry, or the producer in Christopher Nolan's case. There's genuine artistry and say, I want to tell this story and I want to tell this story better than we did it the first time. And that's when you have love for the art and the craft. But a lot of times it's just about them dollars, man. It's just about what these people could put on their resumes and
if
say,
it's
this is
good, it's
what
coincidental. Yeah. Look, when they're
exactly.
writing Blade 2, when it's a vampire mutation and like the jaw opens up with a tongue, were they going for artistry or were they going for this sounds like fun? Fuck it, let's make another one. And Wesley's like, I'm not paying taxes on it, let's do it. And they just did it,
It's
and it worked well. And like I know
it's
where
a
it's like the
contractual
people making. Mm.
it's a contractual obligation at certain points.
Yeah, studio's like, yeah, here's some money,
Mhm.
go have fun, and then they went and had fun and it worked, right? Or
It's
it's a
like
gamble sometimes.
it's like you went to Vegas and you hit the jackpot and you're like, oh wow, fuck, really?
Like, okay,
Okay.
didn't play no. I was
Right.
just kicking around like tossing a quarter in, boom, and then all of a sudden lights went off.
Yeah. And then you have things like Joker too.
And then you have things like Joker 2, where you're
Yeah.
like, you had everything, you had all the pieces in the right place, you had it. What happened? Where did we go? Well,
How did that go so far off the rails and no one noticed
and
until it got to the theater? Like maybe
it
like
turned
things
into
with
a
the Joker
Speed
too.
2 cruise control. That's what.
It literally did. Like, you know, when things go off the rails that badly, like somebody must have known and they're like, this is not gonna, like the screen test didn't do well. And they're just like, well, you know what? We're too far gone. Let's just hope we're just going to put it out and hope that nobody notices it's bad. That's what I feel like Joker 2 was as a sequel. Like, everyone must have known after watching the footage, after watching the final director's cut, that this wasn't great. But they're like, you know what? We're just going to put it out anyway. We're
We'll fix it in post,
contractually
right?
obligated. We're contractually obligated to produce this movie, so we're just going to put it out. And it's
Yep.
not even like the Transporter movies with Jason Statham, or you say
Statham.
his last name right. Statham. It's not even like
Statham.
the Transporter movie section where the first movie was good. The second movie, maybe not so good, but it could still live up to it. The third movie, they had to get a whole brand new person, and then they finally made a series about it. Like, or even John Wick. Those were not continuations. They
Wickenings.
made them continuation. Yes, they made them continuations, but they were actual sequels. But they knew that they were good. They saw the
And
footage. They said,
they worked. Were they as
"You're
deep
right,
of a storyline? No, the first one wasn't as deep of a storyline. But like, look, when it comes to action movies, you can make part two, part three, part four, whatever, so long as the action works, so long as the characters
exactly
work. Yeah, as long as you
right."
make it work, that's what matters.
They may not have generated as much love as the first one originally did with the audiences, but they were good enough. The holes were fixed enough for them to work. Same thing with Bad Boys. I just want to know what happened with the Joker too.
And you know what I want to know is what happened to the taglines of sequels. Like I've been talking about it all day. Of like, remember when sequels were fun, where it's like, okay, it's a what Gremlins 2, the new batch, Teenage Mutant Ninja
Sure.
Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, City Slickers 2, The Search for Curly's Gold. Like, what happened to the fun, like, taglines that came with it? Like, John Wick 2, Look Who's Wicking Now. You know, like, it's
I
still
honestly
wickening.
don't think
You
that
know,
was
like, what
that
are
was
we,
never
if you're gonna
said.
make a sequel, give it a fun tagline, because I miss those taglines. Like I said, Look Who's Talking Too. Like, it's
Home
so, what,
Alone 2, which I don't know what Home Alone 2's was, but
it didn't
look
have a
who's
tag. No,
talking
what was
to.
it? Was there Homeland 2? Was there a tagline for that
There
one?
was a tagline. It was in the 90s. It was in
Lost
that
in New York.
tagline heyday.
Home Alone
Yes,
2, Lost in New
exactly.
York. Yes, I thought they
Mhm.
had fun taglines at the end. That was, I think that was just a 90s thing. In the 90s, you had to have like, and which is why I still make fun of them all the time. Uh, but then again, and then we get a How to Train Your Dragon 4, the new batch. You know, it's like you could just slap those taglines onto anything. Or it's like the Joker 2, The Search for Curly's Gold. Because why not? Because why
Mm.
not? Would that have been so terrible in Joker 2 if they escape from the insane asylum, from Arkham, and then they go search for Curly's Gold? You know, because they found a treasure map. Would that have made it worse? It wouldn't have. You know, throw it in there.
Mm.
Screw it. Just for funsies.
I I just think that sequels do, like, the reason why sequels are so popular is because the sequels in the 80s were making bank. Raiders of
Yeah.
the Lost Ark, um,
Oh, Temple of
what was
Doom.
it?
Temple of Doom was a sequel that a lot of people
Temp
say was a stinker, but I watched the shit out of.
Back to the Future, like movies like that, they were
Yeah.
making bank. Rambo 2, Terminator, like
Oh, the Rambos. Oh,
you needed a
Rocky,
sequel
the
back
Rocky
then.
franchise.
Or you needed a sequel back then,
Yeah.
but I just don't think sequels have the same type of pull now. Or else, if you're going to make a sequel, you just have to make sure it's really freaking special and better than the first one. And
If it, well,
unfortunately,
the
horror genres or
oh,
movies are the only ones seem to be doing that right now.
I feel like we've lost our way when it comes to sequels sometimes, where they don't put the writing in that they need to do to make a sequel, to make it worth our
Mhm.
time. Because right now we've been burned by so many sequels that we're like, why? Like, what now, studios? Is it worth my time? Evidently, Gladiators 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Evidently, yes. Evidently, it's good. It's worth watching. And it's fun, but you know, you got to make it worth our time, and because our time and
True.
money is very precious these days.
Amen.
and you got to make it worth it. And on that wonderful note, hey, Critic Boxers, while you're down there clicking the like and subscribe and getting that tally closer to 800, let us know how you feel about it. First of all, how do you feel about my definition of sequels compared to Andrea's I don't give a shit? Also, what's your favorite? What are some of your favorite sequels? What are some sequels that you're like, yo, you know what? I enjoy that a lot more than the first. Like, we don't have to talk about thirds or whatever. We don't have to. We didn't even bring up the Matrix 1 and others. I mean, there was 1, yeah, and then 2 and 3. You know, like
You want to talk to tomorrow, don't you? You literally want to have this conversation into the.
I do. Let us know down in the comment section. Join us. I'm gonna put on my goggles. I'm gonna put my my respirator in there, and I'm gonna just fall back into the boat, and I'm gonna twirl down to the darkness of the comment section, and we're just gonna hang out down there. We're gonna talk about sequels. Which ones were bangers? Which ones were stinkers? Which ones were just fun and entertaining, like Hot Shots Part 2. Let us know what you think. We love to hear about it, love to talk about it. Joker, folie à deux. Oh, that was, you know what, that is a tagline. There was Joker 2, folie à deux.
It didn't need it.
Didn't need it, but I'm going to use it, folie à deux. I need to look up what that means. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. I'm Andrea. This is Jared. We are Critic Box. And we'll see you guys next time. Go out and watch something.
Jared is a black woman, y'all.
Surprise! The new batch.
What? Yeah.
Bye, all.
I'm white.
Oh, enjoy that card. You're going to love that card. Oh, that baby never expires. You can take that anywhere. That's Visa, everywhere you want to be. Lay that down. Woo, that'll get you that'll open a lot of doors.
There is no door that this does not unlock. Hello. Anyway,
you can also go back in time anytime in history. You can go back to it, safe and sound.
Literally. Anyway, have a good night, everyone. Like, subscribe, comment, do your thing. Keep watching.